Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Sports Climbing Girls Episode 3. My name is Ronnie and today, like I said, we're talking about Sports Climbing Girls Episode 3. I had to repeat myself just to give you a heads up. But we're on Episode 3 and I gotta say, I'm impressed where this Sports Climbing Girls is getting there. You know, the first two episodes was really intense. Seeing Konomi from like a big development, from like a gaming girl perspective, a gamer puzzling girl like herself, going off to awesome sports of rock climbing. Now, like I said, I'm not a big fan of rock climbing. I've experienced rock climbing before with the harnesses. I've done it before back then, but this is one of those new things that, new sports anime that people should get into. You may or may not like rock climbing, but at least you have to understand where this is coming from. So, episode 3 of Sports Climbing Girls has things about Konomi going through rigorous training. Like, I get it. For a chubby, thick girl like herself, haven't been around doing sports lately because she's a gamer. And that's how gamers are. Most gamers are just not not physically into the sport. Sure, they play like thumb-wise, like when playing Love Live or anything, or any app games for your eye coordinations. But physically, like when they're doing rock climbing or any other sport, they lose lack of it. And that's why they call her chubby. That's what they now call Konomi chubby. Now, besides that, you got this brolic guy climbing on walls, not walls, or rocks, climbing on rocks. And looking at the guy, I'm like, this is one of those I'm like, am I watching what's the anime show? Oh yeah, How Heavy the Dumbbells You Lift. You know that show where all the girls is working out and they show each episode with their muscles and how what part of the body they're working on. And looking at that, I'm like, this is like How Heavy the Dumbbells You Lift. And I recommend you watch that show. It's really good. Now, but the entire episode of this was focusing on Konomi's body. Like every camera angle is just Konomi's right there in the angle of her thickness, like from her arms, from her legs, from her chest, from the backside. It's showing every angle when she's working out, when doing push-ups, when doing arm raises, leg raises, running up the sprints, everything. I get what people say, and this is fan service. We're not gonna watch it. Honestly, this is not a fan service show. This is not. Keijo, I can understand Keijo being a female sports anime, even though it has a little bit of edge, even though it has a little etchiness, not as high etchy. But when you look at rock sports climbing girls, it's not that etchiness. It's just showing them working out. And like, come on, what's wrong with that? Have you seen, let's be honest, have you guys seen sports anime shows when you see guys, male or female working out? Okay, then you should experience this. So for example, when Konomi's down and they're sort of butt facing towards the screen, like because she's out of breath, does that make us feel like this is fan service? No. Sure, it has some angle shots, but that doesn't mean like, oh, it's gonna be fan service anime. No, it's just them practicing rock climbing. And you see Konomi is trying her best, performing and exercising every step of the way to be part of a big competition herself. A big competitor nonetheless. So as she got there, she meets this girl who's a gamer too, and they're playing Ruby. But not like the Ruby, like, RWBY thing. We're talking about it has an X in it, so Zuby. And she battled against her, and I'm like, you beat someone who beat you 10 times in a row. You beat a person who's into a puzzle game, and you're already like a puzzle expert gamer. You beat her 10 times in a row, and she calls you master on the first time. Now we found out that not only that part when she was climbing was the male that you saw was actually her father, but she's actually extremely shy. Not like the Sumi rent-a-girlfriend type shy. At least she talks. But unlike Sumi, Sumi's best girl. Took one episode to prove it. But other than that, she's real nice, and for a middle schooler to climb like that, it's really, really good. Now back to Konomi. Now Konomi is trying so hard to be a good teammate for the team. Her exercising routines have always turned up because the keyword she keep bringing up is chubby. Not only that, the one thing she has a problem with is fear. Now here's the thing. I get why people are afraid of rock climbing. I get why people have a fear of heights. I get that. I get that. It's like you're going on a roller coaster. Like we've been on roller coasters before. We always ride in the middle part of the roller coaster or in the back, but not in the front, like the first row, the first seat. That's what people are afraid of heights like that. Or when you're in the elevator and it's like 20 floors. It's 20 floors. Yeah, 20 floors. And you like and the most you could take is the fifth floor. Anything higher, you get freaked out because the heights and the fear, you're shaking. I get that. So with Konomi, her fear of falling, and I get that we're all afraid of falling too. Her fear of falling, it gets in her head. Like it really does. It really does. But other than that, she managed to overcome her fears as she practiced more and more with her friends just to accomplish this big old rock climb, the monkey climb. I call it the monkey rock because most monkeys fall down, and so she compared that. But other than that, that's her obstacle. Now, I get it. The walls and rocks are different. When it comes to the walls, they have different shapes, so you could grip onto that. Whereas rocks, though, there's no foam in that one. You have to use your grip fingertips just to hold on. And most people don't like to get dirty. Most people don't like to climb on rocks or like that. Unless you're one of those childs, unless you were a kid back in the days and you like to climb, all that stuff. I get that. But watching this, I understand where this is coming from. So overall, like I said, this episode was it was really good. It was really good. I'm not saying it was bad. It was really good. The only good thing that everybody's going to keep saying about it, and I know people are still talking about it now, is that everybody's going to say, oh, the whole episode is just seeing Konomi so thick that every angle, we get to see Konomi in different angles. And that's, every angle is focusing on Konomi's body. So I get that. I understand why people are going to be over craziness, over hype for this. But like I said, this episode was this is a slow pacing episode to a point where we see character building. So when we see Konomi just, overcoming so many obstacles and seeing her, fail and get back up moments, the never give up type of thing, that's what we're seeing Konomi. So later on in further episodes, we're gonna see her compete and see how much she built up from this episode up to now. So thank you for watching this episode of Sports Climbing Girls, and I look forward for episode 4.